So dear leader, your vision is your future. So, what do you see? What do you want? And what's your distinction? Dear leader, your vision is your future. So, what do you want? What do you see? What do you want? And what's your distinction? Again, I don't listen to rap music anymore, but Tupac said it best. Even a genius asks his questions. You want to become a leader of distinction? You want to excel in your dream job? One of the things you have to be is ask regular questions. And that comes from observations. So let's take the first questions. What do you see as a graduate or a student or as whatever you are at this current stage? What do you see concerning your career? Do you see opportunities and possibilities, or do you see obstacles and problems? Because whatever you see is what you become. So you heard my story. I was born and raised in a single parent family. I haven't got no qualification, dropped out of university. 6 of my friends got murdered. But because I saw my vision, because I believed in myself, because I realized I had to birth my distinction leadership, I'm now speaking around the world and people are paying for my distinction in leadership. So what do you see? When you go home today, what have you seen for today? What opportunities are you going to embrace today? Or is it just going to be, well, que sera, sera, whatever will be, will be. So what do you see? What do you actually want? Some of you might not necessarily know what you want to become. You don't know what you're going to become in life. There's nothing wrong with that. But let me give you something that I've learned that's helped me on the way. I created a GTP, your gifts, your talents, and your passion. So it's interesting, when I was a young man, obviously I'm young now, but when I was a young guy, the only job I saw myself do was becoming a counsellor working in North London. That was helping people. So you have to ask yourself a question. What's my gift? Meaning, what am I naturally good at? I believe I'm naturally good at speaking, communicating, and leading people. So that's my gift. Then I had to develop my gift by now narrowing my talent. I realized that, okay, my talent needs to be a bit more, a bit more refined, a bit more defined. And my passion, as graduates or as young people, as students, whatever category you find yourself, you have to be passionate about something. It could be tech, it could be design, it could be law, it could be numbers. But before we know, it's Happy New Year, it's 2020, a whole new year and a whole new decade. And for many of us, we've been in a situation where our gift, our talent, our passion has never been developed. We've never identified it. But I really want to challenge you in 2019 and beyond. It's critical to find your gifts, your talents, and your passion. And if you're still not sure about what you want to be, go home, you can speak to me later, but go home today and write 5 jobs that you would never do. It's 5 jobs. And you'll be shocked at there's many jobs that you never ever do. But then write down 5 jobs that I could see myself doing. It's going to be interesting. You're going to find it. Why is it going to? You're going to find it harder to find out the jobs that you don't want to do than the ones you want to do. So your gifts, your talents, and your passion. So I never knew in a million, bazillion years that I'd be speaking around the world, speaking about my life story and leadership and distinction. So it's critical that you find your gifts, something you're naturally good at. Once you find it, you begin to develop it, and that's your talent, and then become passionate about it. When you're working in an environment, when you're going for a job interview, let me tell you something. One of the first things they look for, and I was reading one of the magazines there, is passion. I can spot a passionate person straight away. I'm not saying you have to be like me, you have to be overconfident or over bubbly, but you have to have some passion about you. Employees, interviewers, they can sense someone that's passionate, someone that's just que sera, sera. And the ironic thing about it, the truth about it, there's no more opportunities for que sera, sera. Here in the UK, we're exiting Europe very, very soon, whether we like it or not. So the political market, the economical market, the social and technical market is changing at an alarming rate. But I believe once you find your gifts, your talents and your passion, and answer these 3 questions. And what's your distinction? When you go for that job interview, one question they're always going to ask you is, tell me something different about you. If you can't answer that and say, well, I mean, I've got a 2-1 at university, but there's 500 other people that's got that same grade. Or well, I've done work experience at Barclays Bank, for example, or Lloyds Bank, or wherever. That's great, but what's your distinction? So now, as before the end of the year, you've got to say to yourself, what actually makes me different? Is it the fact that I've done voluntary work in Malaysia? Is it the fact that I write blogs every 2 weeks about my chosen industry? Because if you don't find your distinction, then an employee's not really going to say, well, what are you going to add to our organization? So dear leader, your vision is your future. And the future that you're thinking about or you're not thinking about has already started. I mean, I woke up this morning and I was like, hold on a minute, like, come on, I only had like 4 hours sleep. It seems that time is flying. And before we know it, it's 2020, a whole new year and a whole new decade. But once you embrace what you see, what you want, what's your distinction, that's your leadership distinction. Remember, it's not just about qualifications, it's actually about your leadership distinction, what you can bring to the table of life. The next thing I want to speak about is about branding. So dear leader, your brand is what will distinguish you. No brand, no distinction. Dear leader, your brand is what will distinguish you. No brand, no distinction. So for my message of cutting edge distinction, I created the 3 V's of branding. Your vision, your values, and your voice. Your vision, your values, and your voice. I've only had one job, a part-time job before, but I've never worked in an organization. But I'm now teaching you something that you might not necessarily see online. Your vision, your values, and your voice. So when you're going for an interview and they ask you, tell me something about you, you now have to not talk about your vision, your values, or your voice, but rather the vision, the values, and the voice of the organization. Because when you speak about and you showcase and you sell the vision, the values, and the voice of the organization, they're looking at you and say, okay, you're actually interested in our organization. So there's going to be a time when you talk about your gifts, your talents, your passion, what you can bring to the table. But also, you've also got to now embrace the vision, the values, and the voice of the organization. It's not